Agriculture for Life today on a sugar beet farm. And I'm here with farmer Gary, who's going to teach us all about sugar beets. So what is a sugar beet and what makes it different from a regular red beet that I might eat for dinner?
Okay, these beets are bred for their sugar content, for a high sugar content, and yields. The red beet is very low sugar content, and the odd time you can see a red beet in the field, but we don't want them here. It's a specialized beet, and it's been grown all over the world for years. We've developed good varieties, and that's what we grow here now.
That's amazing. I'm also noticing they're a lot bigger than red beets. Like, this is almost the size of my head. Is that regular, or is this just a crazy big beet?
Well, that's actually an average size beet.
Oh, wow.
They can get a lot bigger and they can get a little smaller. Depending on your spacing, plant spacing, they can grow quite big. They can grow larger than your head, actually.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
That's amazing. So when you plant them, what month is that around?
We usually start planting in the middle of April. And it's a very small seed, actually, and the cotyledon is very susceptible to frost. And you take your chances planting too early because they can freeze off and then you have to replant.
Okay.
So no, we start in April, and we're usually frost free here middle of May. And then once you have a beet up, it's pretty hard to kill them. So
Right, that's good news. And I'm noticing behind me there's just fields and fields of green. So that's like a lot of area. Do you use a machine to plant them, or do you do it all by hand?
We have a vacuum planter, a 12-row vacuum planter, and it precision plants them. We go at 5.5-inch spacing and 22-inch spacing between the rows. There are some farmers in southern Alberta that have 48-row planters. So we farm about 200 acres of beets, and this is a circle. So it's a regular pivot, and there's 130 acres here. And some guys seed full sections, which are 640 acres.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so.
All right.
Yeah.
So now we've had them planted in the ground. So then they need to spend some time growing, obviously. So I know at home I need to water my plants. Is there a way you water these, or do you rely on rainfall?
Well, this is under a pivot. Pivot irrigation, and it's a pivot point in the middle of the field, and the pivot goes around in a circle.
Okay. So
And
it's like a
it's
giant sprinkler system,
yes,
kind of.
yes,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
we usually put between 3/4 to an inch at a time around. And this year we actually put 16 inches of water on. So we did about 18 circles with the pivot.
Oh, wow, okay.
And we also had about 6 inches of measurable rain during the season. So we probably had 22 inches of moisture put on this field.
Okay. And do these guys like the sunshine? Do they need sunshine to grow?
Actually, this spring was rather cool, and they got off to a slow start. And then we had the beautiful southern Alberta sunshine for 2 months, and I think we have above average yield because of it this year. We had to water a lot because we didn't get a lot of rain, but the heat and then cool nights actually puts more sugar in the beets. So
Okay.
we had a great combination this year.
Yeah, so that makes Alberta a great place to grow sugar beets with the cool nights and the warm days.
Oh, yes, it is.
Okay, that makes sense.
And the irrigation water. We're gifted with irrigation water in southern Alberta, and so we always have an adequate supply.
Certainly. So when do you harvest these guys?
They have a mini harvest, they call it, and that starts usually in the first part of September. And it's a controlled harvest, so they only take so many tons because beets don't store in warm weather. So they have to process the beets quickly. And then main harvest starts in the last week of September, first part of October. And then we give it, because you never know when the snow is coming.
Right. Okay, so after they're harvested, what happens to these?
Okay, well, the leaves are taken off by one machine. We have the digger in the background there where they remove the beets out of the ground. That's a 6-row harvester. They go on a truck. These ones go to Coaldale, where there's a receiving station. They're piled there. Then they're hauled to Tabor, Alberta, where the processing plant is. And they're chopped up into what they call cassettes, and they look like shoestring French fries.
Okay.
There's quite a few processes, and then they become sugar.
And they become sugar.
Yes.
So sugar comes from these beets, the white sugar that you buy in the store, is that right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so white sugar. So if you're baking or you stir some into your tea, you can know that it came from a vegetable. So I know for some farms, they'll use like leftover greens like in the soil or like for animal feed. Do you guys do anything with the greens?
We used to use a top saver, and it would cut the leaves off and windrow them, and then we'd turn the cows out all winter long, and it was cheap feed.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But now with the defoliator, it just shreds the leaves to nothing, and it becomes fertilizer for the next year for our next crop.
That makes so much sense. So it helps feed the future beets too.
You betcha.
Amazing. It's incredible that they come from these massive vegetables. So thank you so much, Gary. And yeah, if you want to give Gary a round of applause, woo! We can't hear it, but we can feel it.
Well, I really appreciate you guys wanting to learn how sugar's made and what our industry is all about here in Southern Alberta. Thank you very much.
You can check out our website at agricultureforlife.ca for more resources. We have a book all about sugar beets if you're interested in learning more. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody!